Hello, hello. Let me just make sure that this is actually working. It's been a little bit since doing a live stream. Just double check and make sure we are actually live right now. Hey, we're working. Hello, hello. How's it going? Welcome to the live stream. All right, now we're going. How's everybody doing today? Just randomly thought, why not have a little bit of a live stream for the holidays? Got my setup here. How you guys doing? Gotta fix my setup here. It's been a little bit since doing a live, and it's been even longer since I've done one here. Hey, hey, how's everybody doing? Good deal. Now we're going. Caleros, how you doing? Matthew, hello, hello, hello. All right, now we're going. Yeah, good to see you on one. It's I don't think you've made a live stream yet. I don't do them as often as I should. They are kind of fun when people sign on. When I first started doing live streams, it was like pulling teeth to get people to sign on and come and talk and ask questions and all that kind of stuff. So good to see you guys on here. We are almost to the end of the year, which is kind of crazy. It's been a long, I mean, it's the years went by really fast. Caleros, yeah, I saw that. He's labeled, but he is in a private section. I don't know if I know anybody that's in there, but you just never know. We'll see if we can get in there in the next couple of months. I will be heading back out to LA again very, very soon. Aztec, Merry Christmas to you. Josh, how you doing? Welcome. Thanks for being a part of the channel. Love the Los Angeles videos. I was there not too awful long ago. I will be back. I used to do a lot more work out in LA than I do now, but now I do go out there here and there to shoot videos. But I will be back. There will be a lot more Hollywood stuff. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. Yeah, Rob Reiner, that was crazy. He was one of those kind of guys that I mean, 78 years old, but he was one of those guys that you never saw dying, especially the way that it happened. I mean, the it's pretty sick, but I kind of feel like this is going to be another Menendez brothers kind of a thing. It's pretty sad, and when you have somebody in your family that's an addict, that's not a good thing for anybody. It's very sad. Jake Paul's teeth, I heard about that, but I didn't actually see the fight. How was it? Was it as pathetic as I heard? Double A photo film, how you doing? Welcome to the live. It's good to see you guys all on here. The painting in the back. Yeah, here, I'll show it. I'll show you. This is something that I saw and I just thought I have to have this. It is a lone manatee sitting at a bar. Now, if you guys haven't been on the channel for a while, I used to live not too far outside of Chicago, and about a year ago, I moved down to Florida, and they have some really interesting local artists and art galleries and things like that. And I walked in one right after moving here, and I saw this, and I just thought I have to have this. There's something about it that just makes me smile, and yeah, It now sits in my office. Oh, can't complain. How you guys doing? Hopefully everybody's having a good start to the holiday season at least. Philip, Merry Christmas. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's nice to see people enjoying the videos. Sometimes we put together a video and, I'm really excited about the location, but I don't know if other people will be. Some videos do really well. Some videos, the ones that I seem to put the most effort into are ones that people don't really like, but it's definitely fun. And I mean, this is the most fun hobby I've ever had. Hollywood Boulevard. Oh, I like Hollywood Boulevard. There's probably not a whole lot of videos I'm going to do from there. I will show a little bit more, probably like the Dolby Theater and the handprints, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of locations I'm going to do off Hollywood Boulevard, but in terms of just walking the boulevard, it's not as safe and as fun as it used to be. Complete Circus. I'm going to have to watch it. How long did that fight last? Do I even dare ask? Did he make it out of the first round? A bit of bad trauma. Hopefully everything's going okay with you over there. That's never a good thing. And I mean, the holidays seem to be when everything bad happens all at once. Celebration, I'm about 2 hours from Celebration. So every once in a while I get to Disney. I go there sometimes to get my steps in. Every once in a while I'll record a video from there. I know a lot of my the fan base on this channel doesn't like or want Disney stuff, so I try to keep it as far away from this channel as possible. But I do go there and just check things out, and sometimes kind of get into the history of Walt Disney and all that kind of stuff. A sea lion, yeah, it kind of does resemble that, but I don't know. I saw that thing, and it just sometimes you see art and it just speaks to you. And, I know there's a lot of art collectors out there that collect stuff that's like Jackson Pollock in nature, and you just think to yourself, "Wow, this is something I could have done myself." Or, give my dog a toothbrush or a paintbrush or something like that, and they could do just as good of a job. But things like this, it's unique. I've never seen a painting of a manatee at a bar, so it's just really, really cool. Maisie, Merry Christmas. How you doing? It's good to see you guys on here. Every one of them are great. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. As far as the recognition, I've never really done it for that, but I really like when I can go back. Even now, I started doing these a little over 5 years ago, but I'll go back and I'll watch videos that I did 3, 4 years ago, and I'll see that the location is no longer there. Especially in LA, they bulldoze locations every other week. It seems like. So, I know that I'm not the only person doing this, but for my own sake, a lot of times I have a lot of really good memories in Hollywood, and a lot of those come with locations and places that I used to hang out and go to and all that kind of stuff. And when you go out there and you see these places bulldozed and gone, I'm glad that the video is there. So, and being able to share it with you guys, it makes it that much better. Dean Martin's former home almost completely gutted. Is that the Beverly Hills one or the Palm Springs one? I think they were doing work on both of them. Yeah, I've heard that he lives in Celebration. I've never seen him out and about, and I kind of doubt that he knows who I am or anything like that, but you never know. We might run into him at some point. Sixth round. He ran for 6 rounds. Wow. Didn't I hear he made $92 million for that fight, though? I mean, for that money, I'd probably just run around a ring too and avoid getting hit. Smart for business, but yeah, I completely missed that fight. Yeah, I agree. It is a fun one. It definitely is. Oh, Pleasant Prairie. Okay. That's where the Jelly Belly factory was, isn't it? Tinley Park. They have a good concert venue. Last time I saw Ozzy was at 2018 or 2019. It was at Tinley Park. Pretty sad when you think about all the people we've lost this year too. Had Ozzy, Hulk Hogan, Val Kilmer, Gene Hackman, Diane Keaton. It's been a brutal year. I know I'm forgetting a lot of them, but it seems like every couple of weeks there's somebody that's really big that we're losing. It's always sad when you see that. Okay, Palm Springs. I haven't seen those videos, but yeah, Scott's a good guy. He does a good job. I like to say that he's kind of the godfather of people that do this. I took his tour way back in the day, and I was already interested in all this stuff, but I learned a lot of stuff through him. And that's just exploring Hollywood history was always cool. And then even beyond that, just history, presidential stuff. There's just so much stuff that I've always had interest in that I try to bring to this channel. And sometimes the videos do good, sometimes they don't. You just never know. Oh yeah, that Jelly Belly factory used to be fun. I used to go and take that little train around. That was fun. Top 3 Christmas movies. Oh, Christmas Vacation's got to be one of them. Bad Santa. I'm a pretty big Billy Bob Thornton fan, so anything he does, yeah, Bad Santa. It's one of those movies that not everybody appreciates, but I sure have. If I had to round it out, I'd probably say Home Alone. I mean, that's a classic. So probably the same ones that most people do, but yeah, I'd have to say those ones. Oh yeah, Robert Redford. How could I forget him? He didn't really go out much. The weird thing is that like I know so many people that have worked in the business, but nobody ever seemed to have any stories about Robert Redford. He seemed to always never really come to LA. He lived in Utah, I think, and he wasn't really that ingrained in Hollywood. It seemed like. Yep, he made it to 100. And man, what a life that guy's had. And he seems to have a really good attitude. He's got a young spirit. Yeah, it's good to see. He's one of those kind of guys that you don't ever want to see anything happen to. Yep, would have been 77. And who would have ever thought that Ozzy Osbourne would live to be mid 70s, with all the things that he did. It is pretty crazy to think about. He was one of those guys that I never thought would make it past 50, let alone into the 70s. It's a Wonderful Life. I got to watch that again. I haven't watched It's a Wonderful Life in probably 30 years. It has been a really, really long time, but I really need to put that on the list again. A good channel to watch. Pop Goes the 60s. I've never heard of that one. That would be worth giving a try to. 60s music is some classic stuff. Yeah, the opening monologue for that always got me. Billy Bob's he's awesome. I just started watching Landman a couple of weeks ago. Has anyone started watching that? That is if you like Billy Bob Thornton and that kind of humor, Landman is a really, really good show. I sat down and I watched like 5 episodes in one night last week. A Christmas Story, that's a good one too. Elf I had a hard time getting into, and that's because I I like Will Ferrell as an actor and as a comedian, but I'm not a huge fan of him as a person. Um, there's at some point maybe I'll do a video on that, but there's reasons why. Um, Christmas with the Cranks, just watched that one the other day too. That was a good one. The first two, I never saw any beyond the first two. None of these movies are as good when they bring in different actors and people that aren't original and all that kind of stuff. History of the 60s bands, that would be really cool. Yeah, that would be interesting to look at. Elastic Fantastic, I love that name. Scrooge, that's a good one too. I forgot about that too. A Bill Murray classic. I appreciate that. Bob Barker, he was another one that lived, geez, he lived to be 99, didn't he? He didn't quite make it to 100. That was another one. He was one of those kinda guys that you never thought would actually go. Miracle on 34th Street, that's a good one too. That's, definitely a classic. Sometimes I forget about some of these classics, especially around the holidays, because they play the same movies. Sling Blade, that was probably one of his best. You know, when you look at him now in the roles he plays, you can't even recognize that as being him. But that just shows how versatile of an actor he is. He's Billy Bob is great. And he's actually one of in terms of Hollywood, he's probably the nicest guy that you'll ever meet in the business. Yeah, Landman is awesome. Yeah, and she's really good in it too. Everybody is that show is so well cast. And you wouldn't think that it would be as funny as it is, but it's one of those kind of things that it's like they're not purposely trying to be funny, but the things that happen to them, they're so relatable that it is really good. That is a funny show. Why did I tell you don't? Yeah, that's God, it's been so long since I've seen that. I gotta put that in. I gotta rewatch that again. He was in Christmas with the Cranks. Really? What did he do in that? That was a good movie. Ray Liotta, he's another one. He yeah, he passed in was it Mexico or because I was looking at possibly I kind of wanted to do the location on that, but I know it wasn't here. Yep, Chris Farley. He only made it to 33. You know, when you watch some of those old SNL episodes, you just think to yourself, "Man, what a talent that guy was." He was just a great physical comedy guy and only making it to 33. I think John Belushi was the same way. Oh, thanks for that. The Chris Penn video, I actually shot that video about a year ago and I was sitting on the footage and I don't know what I was waiting for, but I'm sitting on footage right now of about maybe 2 dozen other videos. Next year I want to because when I first started this channel, I didn't voice them on the spot. I would film the video, kind of figure out the shots that I would want, and then I would do voiceover. But a lot of the recent videos that I do, I learn what I can or I just tell you what I know, and then I do that right on the spot, and it's easier to do a video that way, it's more fun to do a video that way. There's less editing, but, and I feel like people like watching those better because you can put in your stories, you can kinda show other things along the way, and that's the way I prefer to do videos now, but I still do have a bunch of video footage from, a year ago or so that I'm still gonna have to put together that way, and you will notice a difference. Yeah, he was a good guy. Hannibal, that yeah. By all accounts, he was a good guy. I can attest to that. I did meet Ray Liotta on, 1 or 2 occasions, and I remember him being really friendly. But, around that time, I was also in contact with Henry Hill, and, I'm gonna have to pull that out because Henry Hill, the guy that he portrayed in Goodfellas, actually painted me something for, I used to have it hanging up in the office, but I took it down when I moved, and it's still in a box somewhere. But, I talked to him a little bit about Henry Hill, and I just remember him being the nicest guy. So, yeah, I believe that. I've never heard a bad word about Ray Liotta. Four Christmases, that was a good one too. Sometimes I forget about some of these because I watch them. Like, Four Christmases, I'm pretty sure it was one of those movies I only watched once. A surfboard. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I definitely do try to be respectful and I try to bring in not only facts, but I try to bring in different stuff from what I've learned by, some people I've worked with, most of these people I've at least met in passing. So I can usually give you somewhat of a feel for what some of these people are like off the camera and I really enjoy being able to share that. In a few scenes. I'm gonna have to look for that and see if I can spot him in there. See Randy Rhodes. Yep, he's another one, man, 25 years old. He actually the plane crash location is a video that I've wanted to do it all year. I actually only live about an hour from where the plane crash was, but I know that it's in private land and you can't really get to it unless you know somebody or unless they let you onto the property. But that is a video that I want to do. Yep, he did, and so did Dean Martin. And there were a couple others too. I know I did a video about 3 years ago of the most famous people to pass away on Christmas. Aztec, thanks. I appreciate you signing on, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll see you next year. I appreciate you signing on, and I will try to do more of these next year. They're a lot more fun when people actually sign on. It's not as much fun. A year ago, I was on here talking to myself, and that's kind of why I didn't do as many of them. Oh, he's Chris Farley. Yeah, Belushi was his idol, and they both passed away from the same thing, same age. Yeah, it's pretty sad. You know, a lot of those guys, if they had kicked the habit, it's hard to tell how far they would have went in the business or what else they would have done. But yeah, it's wasn't correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't John Belushi scheduled or going to be in Ghostbusters originally? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I was No Myth the band name? I remember hearing about that. Let's see, Randy Rhodes, yeah. I mean, all these people, John Candy, 75 now if he had lived. Yeah, 43. And I was always kind of surprised that he is not in Canada. You know, that seems to surprise a lot of people that he's actually buried in LA. Call of Duty video game creator passed away in Los Angeles. I had not heard that yet. Wait, it seems like every day there's somebody. Now I have to look that up. Let's see what we got. That's the weird thing. Like I knew the game, but I never would have known his name. Vincent Zampella. Yeah, it says it happened last over the weekend, but they're just reporting it now. It's kind of strange. Yeah, I definitely try to pay respect because I mean everybody deserves it, and especially people that were in the business. I know a lot of people leave comments on videos and they say, well, these people are no different than any, Tom and Bob that lives down the street. But not saying that they're any different, but most people haven't heard of Tom and Bob, but they have curiosity about famous people and about historical figures and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't mean that they're any better than anybody else, but more people are curious about the history. That's for sure. Yeah, John Oliver, he's got a good show. I always liked him. He had the first show that I saw of him, he had a salmon cannon, and that always cracked me up. The Ozzy see you on the other side. Yeah, I definitely believe that. Randy Rhodes was his best friend, and that definitely is not that was a death that he never got over. Elastic, thank you. I appreciate that. I think that's the second super chat I've ever had in YouTube history. That's awesome. Thank you. Let's see. Harry Chapin and Henry Nilsson. I'm sure I could do a video there. That There's so many people that I have that I wanna do a video of. I have, an ongoing it's a Word document that's 17 pages long of all different locations that I wanna do, and half of those locations are in LA. Yeah, Ghostbusters, I was pretty sure that I saw an interview where Dan Aykroyd was talking about how he was writing a scene for John Belushi in Ghostbusters when he got the call that he had passed. But that's terrible what happened with him. You know, it's easy to point the finger and say, yeah, he was a drug addict and all that kind of stuff, but you kind of have to remember that back then when Belushi passed away, I think it was 82, all the SNL guys, if you ask any of the people on Saturday Night Live or anybody in show business back then, they were all doing it. It wasn't one of those kind of things that was all taboo. It was all over the industry. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. I know I'm like it's in my head, but I just can't think of what it is. Yeah, John Candy's I mean, you guys had a lot of good people come out of Toronto, but John Candy, he's one of those kind of guys that I mean his movies today are just as good as when he did them. Yeah, if you guys have ever I don't know if anyone here has read Charlie Sheen's book. I'm about halfway through it now, but he was talking about growing up with the Pens. They lived just down the street from him, and Charlie Sheen's dad, Martin Sheen, they were friends with Sean and Chris's dad, Leo Penn, and they all grew up together. And he mentioned him in that book. Yeah, we talked about Rob a little bit at the beginning. That is such a sad story what happened to him because I mean that's one of those kind of things that shouldn't have happened. And I know that Rob had tried to get his son a lot of help. He'd been to rehab, and it's just one of those sad things that there's not I mean, there's only so much that he could do. He was trying to get his son help. He kept, he was homeless for a while and no parent wants to see that. So he moved back into the house and, they got into a from everything I've heard, they got into a verbal screaming match at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party, and then it just happened when they got back home. So he was obviously, maybe he snapped or something like that, but just a really sad story all the way around. Hey Brent, how you doing? Video update on Rob Reiner. What did he say in that video? I've been slacking on actually watching other channels lately. I have not been very good about keeping up. Oh, can't complain, Brent. How you guys doing? Favorite movie? There are way too many to name. I There's so many of them that I love, but I'm a big fan of the comedies, like a lot of the original comedies, the National Lampoon's movies, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, there is. The biggest thing I can say is that, when famous people are alive, especially like A-list celebrities, you see them in person, you might get a quick hello, a couple second interaction, shake their hand, there's a million people around. But then after they're gone, you go and visit their grave and there's nobody around. And it's kind of weird because it's like everything shuts off. They're not forgotten, but it's like a whole different vibe or feeling, I guess. It's Some people think it's kind of morbid and all that kind of stuff what I do, but I don't think I'm the only one that does it because if you go to Hollywood Forever Cemetery, there's people walking, people jogging, riding bikes, going and looking at the graves. They're talking to people. They have a picnic. It's so I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that kind of take solace in visiting these places. So, but yeah, I definitely think that there is people do enjoy it and I do too. It's quiet and it's peaceful. Planes, trains and automobiles. That Steve Martin at the car rental counter is probably, to me, the best monologue in a movie ever given. Let's see. Maybe a born psychopath. I can't see any other explanation. I mean, when people take drugs, things happen. But I mean, there's a difference between when people go and jump in a fountain and do something weird, and when they do what he did. It's pretty terrifying what people are capable of. Yeah, that is true. Let's see, Malcolm Jamal Warner, that was a sad one too, and his was kind of overshadowed because of everyone else's. Didn't he went about the same time Ozzy did. So pretty sad. Arthur, that's a movie I haven't heard of. I haven't heard about for a while. I haven't seen that in a lot of years. Dudley Moore, that was a good one too. I should do a video on him at some point. Yeah, that was a sad one, and he was probably best known for the Cosby Show, but I'm trying to think of what show it was. There was a recent show that he was on, The Resident, where he played a surgeon, and he was really good in that too. I mean, he was a really talented guy, but it's really sad. He was, talented guy. He was in his early 50s, I think, and just on vacation with his family, and that's pretty sad how that goes. There's not really much you can do, but it's easier to believe in it when somebody has lived a long, full life and all that kind of stuff. And he's still got more years than many of them, but being that he wasn't, a drug addict or anything like that, it's yeah, pretty sad. I also wanted to mention while I'm doing this stream that if you guys are on Facebook, to be sure to like our page, the Phrasal Productions page on Facebook, because I started doing giveaways on there for of just all kinds of random stuff. Um, I'm giving away some things from my past, things that people have given me that I don't really want anymore. And I've had a lot of giveaways made for the channel. I got stickers and just all kinds of little things, trinkets that I give away on a regular basis on there. So if you're not following the page, be sure to do it if you are a Facebook person. I know several of you in the chat are on there, and I appreciate that too. But I've been giving away, guitar picks from bands and occasionally signed things from people that I've gotten. I have various other things, like I got these guitar picks made for the channel. If you can see these, maybe sometimes these webcams aren't the greatest, but just little things like that. So if you're not following there and you want to get involved in the giveaways, please please do so. I would love to give away things on YouTube, but there's not really an easy way to do it because there's not really a messaging feature or anything like that. And it's just easier to do that with social media. You never drink and drive and make it fun like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that again. It's been a long time. Hey, hey, happy Monday. How you doing? Celebrities that pass that don't get a lot of recognition. Yeah, that would be a good thing to do. There'd be a lot of names on that list. Do I play guitar? I used to. I still can. I don't claim to be that good. I've kind of jammed with bands here and there. I can play, but there's 99% of the guitar players out there I would I would say are a lot better than me. Well, I just realized that I don't have this clicked on so that can you guys see the comments right now on the screen? I know I can see them, but this live streaming software is very new, so I'm not sure if you guys can see this. I have one on the screen right now, and I'm not sure if you can. if you can see that or if that's only visible to me. Christoph Waltz, I have not. I've seen him briefly in passing at award shows, but I've never worked with him and never actually talked to him. Oh, good. You can see the comments? Okay, so they are on here? Okay, good. I wasn't sure. This is only the second time I've used this streaming software, and it shows there's a toggle switch that says show on stream, and it's not switched now, but as long as you guys can see them, that's good. That I had a moment where I thought, "Oh, did I really was I really just reading these and answering them and not letting you guys see what the comments are?" Good, that makes me feel better. I had a moment where I thought, "Oh, am I just does it look like I'm just talking to myself?" Okay, good deal. Well, thanks for confirming that. As I do more live streams, I want to make sure that this is kind of a flawless process. And going into 2026, I occasionally might want to bring on guests. I haven't done that yet. I did my first interview this last year or this year with a Ted Bundy victim, which that was an interesting interview, and that was the first time I ever actually interviewed somebody else. I've done plenty of interviews where I've been on people's podcasts and shows, but that was the first time I did an interview. So hopefully that one came out good if any of you saw it. And yeah, that was a lot of fun though, and it's fun digging up information that maybe stories that haven't been told before. Yeah, I try to make this interactive because I mean, this is how I get to know you guys, and this is how you guys get to know me a little bit off the videos. You know, I tell stories on the videos, but I like knowing what you enjoy about the channel and what you don't like about the channel, what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of. But I will try to do more of these, and the more people that sign on and interact, the more fun it is. So, going into 2026, I would like to try to do at least 2 of these a month, and before up until now, I've pretty much been releasing videos on Fridays. Occasionally, there'll be a second video. Next year, I might try to bump it up a little bit, but I definitely wanna throw more live streams in so I can give you guys a chance to ask questions, so I can ask you some questions, and kinda get a feel for what, things are gonna look like for the channel going forward and what you guys want to see. So yeah, I appreciate that you guys are taking part of this. Yeah, that was a fun one. I had I was it was a little bit nerve-wracking because it's one of those kind of things that, I was kind of out of my element actually giving an interview. I'm usually on the other side of that. And I just wanted to make sure that I did the guest justice, and let her tell her story and get that information out there. So hopefully that came out decent. I know there were some issues with the kind of the playback because there were some Wi-Fi connections at a couple of points, and it kind of sounded like we were talking over each other a couple of times. But it other than that, it seemed to come out pretty good. Martha, that's not good. Hopefully you both start feeling better. That's not a good way to start the holidays. Yeah, people y- it's kind of funny when you read comments on things because there's a lot of things that get caught in the spam filters, and people call me a grim, people call me a ghoul, all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of people that enjoy what I do, but there's a lot of people also that don't understand it. They don't know why we do it. If you guys are on the chat, obviously you're a part of the channel and you enjoy it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If people didn't want to be remembered, there wouldn't be cemeteries. So I mean, it's still only a part of what I do here, but it's a pretty decent sized part because we're better to tell the story of somebody than where they're at. Yeah, thanks, Elastic. Hopefully everybody stays, healthy and happy, and that that everybody has some good luck this holiday season. Yeah, basically every channel that I have right now, there's things that I like doing that I know people on this channel will not watch. And the problem is if you post it on here, videos like that are pretty much dead as soon as you post them. If nobody on that channel watches them, they don't go anywhere. They don't show up in searches. They don't show up in recommendations. But if when I create another channel, I will just do those things. If anybody else watching this doesn't know this, Caleros is, I think you're on all of them, but I have another channel that's called Jeff's Adventures that is basically just like some random. Sometimes I'll do roadside attractions, some museums that aren't really historical related things, different things that I do that don't have anything to do with this channel. And then I have a walking channel where when I'm out on the road, I'll just carry a camera on me, or I'll put one on my hat or something, and it'll just show just a quiet ambient walk of various places. There'll be downtown areas. There'll be sometimes I'll put a camera in my car when I'm driving from one location to another and just kind of give you an idea for what places look like. But there's links to these on if you go to the channel homepage, the recommended channels, they're all there. And then I started a month ago just a regular Disney channel where it's basically just 4K videos showing the rides and things like that. So that's it's just other things that I know people on this channel would not want to watch. Well, thank you. I definitely try to be respectful, and it's sometimes it's hard because no matter how much justice you try to do for a victim or for a subject, there's always going to be people that are upset the fact that you did that video. And I did notice, not so much on YouTube, but on Facebook and Instagram when I post reels, a lot of times there will be famous people that are liking those videos, that are commenting on those videos. And one of the first ones that I had was Michael Madsen. And it's sad because he's passed now, but he actually reached out to me a couple times telling me how much he enjoyed the videos that I was posting. So that was really cool. He still shows up as a follower on Instagram. So if you ever see his account, we're still on there. Yeah, the some things are going to be harder to do videos on, and there's some people that I have. When something happens to like a family member or something like that, sometimes out of respect, I just won't do those videos. The Spam Museum, I would love to do that, and that one will probably be on the Jeff's Adventure channel if I do that one. That probably will not be on this channel because it would probably get 50 views and 100 people would unsubscribe. As sad as that is, that's the reality. I will do something on the Reiners. Before the Rob Reiner incident, I was already planning on doing a Carl Reiner video. So I'm sure that I will. I will be back in LA in March. I may be there sooner, but I will be out there a couple times this year. But I probably will do a Reiner video. I'm not sure when, but I most likely will do one. Yeah, Find a Death. It's a really interesting site for information, and I always loved scrolling the site. But one thing that I always told myself on this channel, I'm not going to get graphic. I'm not going to go into long explanations of things, and I'm not going to show photos that are graphic. I always wanted to keep this channel kind of PG rated for everybody. I don't use bad language. I want this video to be for anybody who appreciates this sort of thing. I want to be a resource for people that love history. So in that sense, I try to do that a little bit different. But yeah, I definitely try to, um, you know, kind of keep that part separate. Um, I don't know. It's been quite a while now. It's been 2 years, and there's still no headstone. So I'm kind of wondering if they're going to leave the headstone off just for maybe the family wants privacy or something. Yeah, Michael Madsen, he was a really interesting guy because okay, here's the funny part about this. He was a fan of our channel, but he didn't know that I was the one behind the channel. I actually worked with Michael Madsen about 15 years ago on a project, and I got to know him fairly well on that project, but he never watched the YouTube channels, and I don't show my face on Instagram or Facebook, so he didn't put that together. So I basically I knew him before that, but he didn't know that I was the one running the channel, but he just thought it was cool. So that that kind of that was always special. He was the first famous person that ever reached out about the videos that I made. And just knowing that he was a fan and now I don't believe he has a final resting place, so we're not going to be able to visit him and do a tribute to him. So that kind of sucks, but I mean, I he would have been a good one to do. Facebook communities, it's hit or miss. I enjoy doing it. The reels, um, they bring a lot of people to the videos, but it is a lot more toxic environment. I will say that. A lot of people when they're on Facebook or social media, they'll say things that they would never bother saying to your face. YouTube's kind of the same way, but there's way more of them on Facebook. Yeah, I definitely am. And Keanu Reeves is one of those kind of guys, like he's one of Hollywood's good guys, and you don't want to do a video like that and then have him see it. You just don't want to make people feel bad or anything like that. A lot of people have a lot of tragedy in their lives and all that kind of stuff. Gene Hackman death location or his graves. Does he have a grave? I know the location is in New Mexico, and I don't think it's accessible, but at some point I would like to do it. When you work with celebrities on projects, okay, I've done a lot of video and film work. I have film credits dating back to like the mid 2000s. I've done extra work, I've done production, I've done special effects, I've done camera operation, I've produced about 2 dozen projects, plus documentaries. I've been around the business for a long time, even longer than I've been working with it. And through that, I've been to a lot of award shows, the Grammys, Oscars, Golden Globes, all that kind of stuff. I don't go to as much of that stuff now, but there was a point in time about a 10-year period where I was attending all that stuff, and it was mostly for networking purposes. But so when I say that I worked with people on a project, it was either working with them on film or working on a project they worked on. Or for a few years, I also did some things on the autograph show circuit where I would like do handling and things like that, and kind of, I guess you could say, babysit celebrities to make sure they behave themselves. So it could be any of those methods, but over time, I've at least had interactions with almost anybody you can think of. I post photos every once in a while on the community page. If you guys like seeing more of that, I can do more of those. I probably have 4,000 different pictures with people dating back to the late 90s. And it used to be something that, if I'd work with somebody or if I'd even meet somebody on the streets in LA, I would always try to get a picture. And I just thought that that was really cool because once they pass on, it becomes a really good memory that you can't get back. So, yeah, that's usually when I talk about working with people, it's either seeing them on set or, seeing them at an award show or something like that, or working with them and on a convention level if I have to sit with them and, just kind of keep an eye on them or whatever. So, yeah, that's yeah, Michael Madsen, he was just such a good guy. He always played a really troubled bad guy or whatever, but he was just the nicest guy. He really is. Happy holidays, Max. Hopefully you are doing well. Toby Keith has a big resting place. I did see that, but he is not actually buried there. He's on his family farm. The resting place that they have in the public, it's just a I don't know if I'd say it's a cenotaph because it's like a full-on burial location, but he's not actually there. The family has confirmed it. A lot of people think he's there, but he's actually not. Once his wife passes away, maybe they're both going to be moved there. But as of right now, he's not actually there. 100,000 subs. Yeah, I actually never thought that we'd get to 100,000. 120,000. I mean, it's exciting, but the funny thing is that even with that many subscribers, I can still post videos that I think are really good and really interesting, and some of them will not even get 1,000 views. So that's, I mean, that's just like a fraction of 1% that actively watch. Most of the subs that I got were from like 3 different videos, not like a combination of all the videos. Like they came from 3 different viral videos on this channel, and one of them was the True Crime Museum in Pigeon Forge, and the people that subscribed from that video don't seem to watch grave videos or Hollywood videos. They want true crime. The people that subscribe for true crime don't want this. The people that subscribe for Hollywood videos don't want that. People that subscribe for presidential videos don't want either of the other ones. There are folks that enjoy all of it, and I really appreciate that if you're one of them. But that's why I do kind of branch out into different channels because they're very different audiences. But I appreciate everybody signing on, and I will try to do more of these videos coming up. And I just really hope that everybody has a safe and happy holiday season. There's going to be a lot of really good stuff coming up in 2026. There's going to be more travel, a lot of new locations. There's going to be more Hollywood stuff. And I don't want to give away some other locations, but I'm also hoping to try to throw a few more interviews into the mix, a few more live streams, more giveaways, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, just thank you so much for being a part of this channel. Each and every one of you is a big reason why we are getting to, why we're being noticed. And, I'm not one of those kind of guys that's ever going to forget when this channel was, 100 people because it still feels that way to me. And, I'm grateful for that. But I appreciate every one of you. Have a safe and happy holiday season, and we will catch you. If I don't post another video between now and the end of the year, I will catch you at the beginning of 2026. So thanks a lot, guys, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So thanks, and